We live in the age of information overload. Every day we are flooded with data, opinions, and demands. And it's not just information, it's the pressure to make decisions, fast decisions, all the time. You have 100 choices for breakfast right now. You have a dozen ways to get to work and a million things pulling at your attention right now. And I'm thankful if you're still watching this video, because in the next few minutes, I want to share with you 4 of the best techniques you can use to think clearly. Yes, just 4, because I want you to remember them and not just watch this video and forget it. But before that, let's be clear. Attention and memory loss is not a brain problem. Your mind is capable of so much more. It's probably the most powerful tool in the world. It can be organized, it can be made to think clearly and effectively if you learn how to manage it. And that's exactly the problem. The problem is how we use it and how we let the noise of the world clutter our brains. Because we are being bombarded with noise, so much noise that we can barely hear our own thoughts. This is why it becomes even more important to master our thoughts before we master our mind. And our brain is constantly processing information. But believe me when I say this, memory isn't as reliable as we think. Sometimes memories are distorted, they're wrapped in emotion, and they're influenced by past experiences. We think we remember something one way, but it's not entirely accurate. And that's a big problem because we trust our memories. We believe them without question, but that belief is what misleads us. If we want to think the right way, we need to recognize that our minds aren't the perfect storage systems, and our thinking can sometimes be clouded by assumptions and biases. But here's the good news, we can do something about it. Thinking the right way is a skill that can be developed. So I'm going to suggest some practical steps to get your mind working for you, not against you. Number 1, recognize your cognitive limits. We often think we can push through fatigue, but our cognitive limits are real. Our brains are not infinite processing machines. They need rest, they need focus, and they need boundaries. That's why it's essential to manage your mental bandwidth. Protect your attention. Recognize that you can only focus on a limited number of things at a time. For example, imagine having a conversation with 2 people at once. How much can you actually understand of what each of them is saying? Let's add another speaker to the mix. How about now? Not much can be understood, right? Your brain is constantly juggling, and when you overload it, nothing gets processed properly. The more you respect your limits, the more you'll be able to focus on what truly matters. Which brings me to the next point, which is number 2, set a bandwidth. We need to talk about focus. Every status update you read on Facebook, every text message you get is competing for resources in your brain from the more important things like taking time to think about your relationship, check in with your parents, sit with your kids, or just focus on your work. Your brain only has so much bandwidth and we are already overstimulating it. So, what can we stop today? First is multitasking. It's not just unproductive, it's actually harmful. When we multitask, we're not doing multiple things at once. We're switching between tasks. And every time we do that, our brain has to refocus. This takes energy and eventually it leads to burnout. So limit your bandwidth. Eliminate the less important tasks or distractions so you can prioritize things that really matter. And there's a simple technique for that, which is called the Eisenhower matrix. Have you heard of it? It's this tool that lets you divide tasks across urgency and importance. So at the start of each day, divide tasks across urgent and important. Do these first. Important but not urgent. Schedule them. Urgent but not important. These should be delegated if possible. And fourth, not urgent and not important, that could probably be eliminated. And this is the easiest way to tell yourself and your brain on what to focus on, what to delegate, and what to ignore. The more you can eliminate unnecessary distractions, the clearer your thinking will become. And this brings me to point number 3, which is leverage predictability. Our brain loves predictability. That's why routine tasks like brushing your teeth feels effortless. You don't overthink how to brush or worry about what if I fail. It's automatic and it's comforting to the brain. And the best part is, The more positive habits you create, the less room there is for fear, doubt, or distraction. And these positive habits steer you towards what you have established as a good life for yourself. And yes, I'm air quoting good because what feels good for you might look completely different for someone else. But it does not stop there. You could practice also habit stacking, which basically means pairing a new habit with one that you already do. So, next time, right after brushing your teeth in the morning, you could plan your meditation. This way, the meditation will start to feel second nature because your brain processes this as a combined habit. And the last suggestion I have for you today is number 4, start small and build momentum. When it comes to thinking, don't try to think or do everything at once. Start small. This is where the concept of behavioral momentum comes in. Begin thinking or planning with an easy task, something so simple that it feels effortless. Plan on making your bed, washing a dish, or organizing your desk. Now, these tiny plans and actions create momentum and make it easier to tackle bigger thoughts, plans, and tasks later. Once you complete planning and delivering on the small tasks, it gives you a boost of energy and motivation, which sends dopamine to your brain to move on to the next thought. And while you plan these small tasks, understand your chronotype. Now, this is your natural preference for when you feel most alert and productive. Some people are morning people, others are night owls. Recognizing your chronotype can actually help optimize your energy. So, do your hardest thinking, your planning, and organizing when you're at your best, and leave the easier thoughts for times when your energy naturally dips. With that, I will recap our 4 quick ways to think the right way, and hopefully, you can recollect them with me. Number 1, recognize your cognitive limits. Number 2, set a bandwidth. Number 3, leverage predictability. And number 4, start small and build momentum. Now that's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed exploring your mind with me a little bit today. I will see you in my next video, which is right here. Until then, bye.